Hello and welcome to another viewer replay cast. Today we are going to be looking at a special tank that I haven't featured in over 400 of my videos on the Czech channel or here either, but it's not that big of a deal because I have like 3 videos here. The Tortoise, the tier 9 British tank destroyer. This tank looks really funny. It's a moving bunker pretty much. It has an insane gun, quite good armor, and that's about it. That's pretty much the only thing that is going for it. And you would say that it's a shit tank, and in many occasions I would agree. But the gun is insanely good, actually. The gun right here is a 120mm gun with 400 alpha and 259mm of penetration, with an APCR round of 326mm of penetration. It also has a bit of a high-powered HE round, which is 120mm of penetration, which is pretty standard for British tanks. That they have slightly stronger HE shells because they are all hash technically. This tank is not very interesting. You don't see it very often. I'm just gonna pause real quick because this tank does have armor, but you can see the giant ass cupola right here. The thing with this cupola is that it's still quite bouncy because the actual weak spot is like this, the machine gun ports pretty much. This part of the cupola is a bit stronger and this part of the cupola is a bit stronger as well. So it's quite easy to bounce it, but the cupola is giant. Like this weak spot is much larger than cupolas on like the Defender or anything like that, so it's not that hard to penetrate. Also, the front of the tank, if you have skill loaded on tier 9, tier 10 tanks, basically 300mm of penetration and above, you can just penetrate this, and that very easily in most cases. So that's why this tank, in combination with the good armor and not ideal speed, you could say, is not played very much. But the gun is not that impressive in terms of the damage or penetration or anything, but it's impressive in its DPM. Its stock DPM is above 3000, which puts it at the second highest DPM tank in the game, right below the Badger. The Badger being a tier 10 British TD that comes right after this tank. The Badger obviously is a bit stronger than this tank because it does have incredibly strong frontal armor. It's basically unpenetrable when it hides its lower plate, and even if it's showing its lower plate, it's pretty much undefeatable, but it shares like most of the problems that other casemate TDs with bad speed have, which is basically once you track it, once you get into its ass, and if you have RT aiming for it, if you have types aiming for it, whatever, it's that. It doesn't help it that it has like a large amount of hit points, like the Tortoise at tier 9, which is 2000, which is well above average for a tier 9 tank. However, we can see that this tank takes fucking ages to get to the action at the top speed of 19, it seems. I don't think Ondra was going any faster than this. He has AP loaded and he just arrived to support the 705, but you don't want to really be looking at the T95 with this tank. The T95 is pretty much a counter to this tank because it does 750 damage. It can pen you even without its APCR round in your stronger points if it hits well, and it's just not going to do much. It's just not something you really want to face off because there's smaller weak spots, and even if you load the APCR, you need to hit 2 shells for every one of his that hits, and that's still not a very good trade. So Ondra is able to hit 2 shots there into the object, and that's all he does, and he's backing off. He tries to shoot the 110 with a cheeky shot under the friendly object, but it doesn't work. Unfortunately for him. However, he just gets detracked by the 140. The 140 thankfully is shooting APCR and not the heat. The 110 is shooting heat, which means it has the stock 122mm gun, which has 250mm of penetration, if I remember correctly. Ondra is tracked here, but he is able to find an angle to shoot the 110 through the lower plate and detrack him with the same shot. The 110 does repair its tracks, but yeah. He had a shot for the 110, but the Type 4 jumps in to save the day and takes one for the team. He doesn't suffer any damage for it. Type 4 obviously is not it's also not a very good tank to face off in this, because if it takes the engagement, it will trade with you fairly well, especially if he shoots under the tank, because he doesn't care about the armor. If you just shoot with the Type 4 or Type 5 guns or any derps at the front of this tank, you're not gonna do a lot of damage, because the nominal strength of the armor here is actually really good. What makes the armor kind of weak is that it's pretty much straight on. It doesn't have any angling. But you know, if you are able to do this kind of, if you shoot under the tank, you negate all the armor because you're actually proxying against the belly armor. We see a very bad play by the T95 and dirty APCR into the frontal road wheel of the T95. This is basically there's nothing the T95 can do, as he used his repair kit before. Incredible positioning by Ondra there, not losing any hit points and killing the T95. We see that the Type 4 aims for the hull. He only does 250 damage. Ondra prioritizes the 110 because it can actually flank, and now it's time to wreck this Type 4 to pieces. He still has APCR loaded. No worries, because obviously the AP rounds are not good enough to penetrate the front of the Type 4 reliably. The Type 4 shoots the Tortoise for 69 damage. We can see that the frontal plate is actually quite strong. I think he actually hit the mantlet or something. If he just shot under the tank, or maybe even the cupola, because then he would proxy against the top of the armor, he would probably do like 400 to 500 damage, but he didn't. So Ondra wins this engagement with 5000 damage and only, 300 lost? So very nice. Ondra just turns around and immediately starts shooting at the bad guys at cab, immediately kills the FV. Immediately kills the 140, who got very cheeky with that. He underestimated the DPM. Very good target prioritization there by Ondra. And Tortoise is sight on. He rushes the shot a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because he detracks him anyway. The Tortoise is tracked now. He's still shooting APCR, doesn't matter. And the Tortoise to its side, he will be finishing him up right now. Cool stuff. So he pushes around the rock, and not a very smart move, because for example the Borsig is not spotted yet. He could be like anywhere in this location and be able to shoot, and he does. Nice, he just bounces the tank, he just hits like the lower part of the tracks, which is not a hitbox for damage. Never mind, Ondra has enough time to get behind the rock, shoots the M103 once. Unfortunately, the friendly SU-101 dies, but he will be able to finish off the M103 with one of his APCR rounds. And the IS-3 is peeking. He will be able to just shoot the frontal plate of, the frontal plate of the turret. But he just chose to shoot at the cupolas or the upper part of the IS-3 turret, and that didn't work out. Progetto seems that it wants to flank. He detracks the Tortoise, but it doesn't really matter. WZ with heat loaded just pants straight away. Borsig bounced another shot. No, sorry, he didn't. The IS-3 bounces another shot from the right, and the Progetto bounces one. Progetto is not able to back up because he has the Caverner there. A very nice shot by Ondra into him. He is spanned by the IS-3, and he needs to back off now, because this tank is not good at facing off multiple enemies from multiple angles. He just shoots the whatever it is, the ship, so he can shoot the IS-3 real nice, and unfortunately he gets tracked, and he already used his repair kit, so this is not a good case for him. However, he will be able, hopefully, to use this rock here to turn to the IS-3. Very nice move there. Unfortunate shot that should have penned, I feel. The IS-3 penned one shot into him as well, but I don't think it matters really at this point. He needs to be careful to not show the side of his tank here. He could be dead right now if the Borsig took his chance there, but the Borsig did not. So, very nice, he kills the IS-3, and now it's him and Caravan against a Borsig and an Arty. The Borsig is on, I'm not sure how many hit points, he has HE loaded. He was somewhere over there, but it looks like he backed off. Good for Ondra, because he showed his ass too much to this angle. If the Borsig was there, he would be dead already. Also, see that the Borsig bounced another shot in that engagement, I believe. So, if the Borsig had APCR loaded, Ondra would be dead at this point, because there's nothing you can really do. The Borsig is like 300 milliliters of penetration on its APCR rounds, and that would just span the front plate or the lower plate, whatever, unangled. Very easy shots for him. Fortunately for Ondra, the Borsig is a free-to-play player, I guess. He doesn't shoot premium rounds, so good for us. gonna speed up the game a little bit because this tank is painfully slow. The caravan goes for the cap or to hit the R-tip, whatever, one of those. Ondra keeps pushing up on this side. They are separated right now, which is not good because he gets spotted by the Borsig and he's not able to hit this shot. Sorry for keeping that sped up, that was my mistake. However, he rushed that shot a little bit and he was not able to connect it. He keeps going forward. I feel like this is another mistake that could end fatally because the Batchet RT has an autoloader and he could just hit Ondra any moment now, and if he hit one he would be probably able to hit another one and finish him off. Ondra tries to go and like keep both of these angles in check. He doesn't want to really go too close because if the Borsig pops up here, he will not be able to turn. However, he pushes up to the rock here. Nothing there. Borsig is not pushing, so he just backs off a little bit. I'm gonna speed up the replay again. The caravan is making his way through the enemy cap, and he's not capping. He wants to kill all the tanks. That might be a mistake because there's only 3 minutes remaining and the remaining tanks are significantly faster than the remaining tanks on the friendly team. Ondra tries to go around. There's no tanks here. Looks like the Borsig fucked off or he's hiding behind one of these rocks. So the Tortoise just backs off to find some angles to shoot at, but he's not able to really... He's not able to find anything. He's not spotted either, so he's kind of safe. Obviously, this is a very open area. If the Borsig would just like drive out and spot him, the Arctic would probably be able to finish him very easily. The caravan is making his way around on this passage. I would back off if I were Ondra a bit more to the right here, because then you would be able to shoot there if something got spotted there. In this position, okay, the Bachelor just got spotted. He makes his way forward. He tries to find a shot. Nope, unfortunate. Bachelor Arctic makes his way down, and now it's quite bad because the enemy team knows where the caravan is. Sorry about that. We have HE loaded for the Bachelor Arctic with 515 alpha. That should be enough to kill him in one shot. He aims for the turret. Very unfortunate shot. RNG screwed him with this one. However, he loads another one. The Bachelor Arctic is quite stationary, just juggling back and forth, so he's able to finish him up. He's loading another HE shell. No, he switches to AP because obviously the Borsig is on like 200 health, so no point in shooting HE. You could hit the gun or hit the triax or whatever and not kill him in one shot, which could cost Ondra the game at this point. There's 50 seconds remaining. Borsig gets spotted by the caravan. Ondra aims his shot, not really fully, but he snaps it very nice. 11 kills. Impressive. Let's take a look at the stats. And here we have the stats. Ondra managed to get a mastery badge, Pools medal for 11 kills in this case, steel wall for bouncing a shitload of damage, high caliber for doing a lot of damage, sorry about that, and the top gun for 6 kills. He was able to do 9,714 damage, 11 kills and 2,170 base XP, absolutely impressive. Obviously the caravan was very important for this game, I feel. Ondra would not be able to win without him. He spotted quite a lot, even though his stats don't really suggest that he did a lot in this game. I feel like he was absolutely crucial to, keeping the flank secure. Just like forcing the tanks to not circle around the Tortoise just made this game possible. Ondra was able to fire 40 shells. He almost ran out of ammo at the end there. He hit 33, I can't pronounce that number, penetrated 29 and splashed 1. Funnily enough, he did, as I said, 9.7k damage. 1600 of that was over 300 meters. Most of this damage was very close range, spotting his own damage, which is why also he has that insanely high base XP, which is a really, really good game. 2200 almost base XP. Impressive. Obviously, what won this game was that the caravan, in my opinion, played very well. It might have been, not intentional on his part, but he did play very well, and I have a feeling that he pretty much won this game. And if I were in his shoes, I would probably not play it better, even though he doesn't have the damage to show for it. Also, another important thing is that the enemy team played incredibly defensively. Basically, at the end, there was a 6 versus 2 situation, I believe, and the team just did not do their advantage. Like the Progetto or the Pantera, I'm not sure which one it was. He was on full health. He could have flanked, took one shot for the team, tracked the Tortoise. The Tortoise would be forced to turn to either side to deal with one of the guys, and the other guy would have full damage potential against the Tortoise. But no, he was able to do 5,000 damage because when tanks got close, they were already alone and low in numbers, like the IS-3 at the end there. And also, pretty much no one loaded heat against him or premium ammo. The only tanks that shot premium ammo against it had really bad premium ammo, like the 110 with its stock 122mm. And you know, if the Borsig at any time loaded premium APCR, if the 140 at any time loaded the premium heat, both of those would be able to deal a significant amount of damage to the Tortoise, and you know, making the game much harder, probably impossible to win for him. But you know, stars aligned, the enemy team was just bad enough for Ondra to have this amazing carry game. And I hope you enjoyed watching this replay. If you did, please consider leaving a like, comment, or even subscribe. Thank you, and see you next time.